Hi everyone, I'm Chad Smith, one of the managing partners at Reveille Wealth Management, and I serve on the investment committee here at the firm. This is the first of a series of videos that we are doing to highlight some extremes that exist in the market environment today. The first one we're going to discuss is the relative outperformance of technology versus the rest of the market. This graph here displays tech as a basket over time relative to the S&P 500 over the last 100 years. What you see is that right now we are at extremes that rival, actually exceed anything we've ever seen throughout history. The relative outperformance of technology versus the S&P 500 is now over 2 standard deviations above the average of the historical relative performance. There have been 2 other occurrences in history where we've gotten to this extreme or near this extreme. The last one was in the late 90s, the internet bubble. Of course, I was managing money at that time and I lived through that craze and know all about it. But in late 99, early 2000, when technology stocks were all the rage, they were at an extreme level, and of course most people know what unfolded. Internet bubble burst, technology stocks crashed, many of which fell more than 90% in value. And over the next several years, tech as a whole underperformed the broad market. The one prior to that was in the 1960s, the go-go era, when what was defined as technology stocks back then were also all the rage, and they were a significant contributor to the market environment back then for many years, but then that got to a climax, and when it peaked and rolled over, the next 20 years resulted in technology overall underperforming the broader market. So, does that mean that we're headed for the same scenario today because of the extremes that exist? We don't know. It's the future. What we do know is, historically speaking and statistically speaking, we are at a point where the probability is very high that a major turning point is on the horizon. With our investment discipline, RBID, which stands for our rules-based investment discipline, our focus is to identify prevailing intermediate to long-term trends in price in all the various asset classes of the market, but also importantly, the turning point or the inflection points in those big cycles. So we're not going to just bet against technology right now because it is in this strong uptrend or this strong relative outperformance trend. But it's important to be aware, to be cognizant of the environment, and it's prudent to be ready and prepared for when these cycle changes do occur, and especially when they're at extremes, to be able to act accordingly. It's kind of like if you're in an overly crowded movie theater. It's probably smart to be near the exits if all of a sudden a fire breaks out in that theater. So we're going to be prepared and ready to take action as appropriate when that does occur. If you'd like to learn more about our investment discipline, please email us at info@reveillewealth.com. Thanks so much.